Hello, world of YouTube, and welcome to a one-time sort of ordeal in terms of a discography review. You guys know how I normally structure these. It's usually a decade per part. This is going to be part 2. This is going to be the last part of part 2, the 2010s, with a review of Mastodon's new album, Once More Around the Sun, with a special guest, Mark from Spin It Reviews. We did this video a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, and since the move and stuff has happened, I haven't been able to film the rest of the discography review, but I figured I'd post our review now as its own separate thing and have it be kind of part 3 of my discography review. I would not expect any of the discography reviews to be released in this fashion, but because of the nature and all that sort of jazz, McJibber jabber, I'm going to post this like this, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to film the Mastodon discography review. Again, like I said in the update video I made a couple of days ago, it'll probably happen after I move. So when I move, after I get my new place set up, I will find time on a day off, film my Mastodon discography review, edit it, and post it for you guys to see. But in the meantime, here is my already really long-winded review of the new Mastodon record, Once More Around the Sun, with Spin It Reviews. Okay, it's me from the past. So like I said in the part that just happened, and in the other videos, and the updates and all that sort of stuff, this album in the discography review is going to be a collab with one of the longest running subscribers on the channel. He's a guy who's been devoted. He's a devote, and he started doing music reviews himself. It's Mark from Spin It Reviews. Welcome.
Hey.
So,
How you doing?
I'm pretty smokingly good. How about yourself?
Very good, very good. Let's review some Mastodon.
Mastodon. So, since this is a discography review, kind of wanted to know, what are your opinions on Mastodon's discography as a whole, from what you've heard, if you haven't heard the whole thing, all that sort of gist.
Well, see, I'm kind of glad this is a collab review because I know you're a little more well-versed in Mastodon than I am. I haven't listened to their first 2 albums in full. So I've heard everything from Blood Mountain onward, and out of those, I'm warning, unpopular opinion alert, I like each one better than the one that came before, including this new one. See, maybe it's because my tastes tend to lean a little more toward the accessible, the melodic, the more straightforward, but I don't know, the Hunter just really worked for me. And as for this album, it kind of just like combined most of what I like about all of those albums. Crack the Sky maybe was compositionally their most impressive, but the way I like to think of it, it might seem a little shallow, but there are like 2 or 3, there was like 2 tracks I thought were forgettable from Crack the Sky and the Hunter, but 2 forgettable tracks on a 7-track album is worse than 2 forgettable tracks on a 13-track album, you know?
Yeah, well, that is kind of an interesting counter-opinion to the masses, myself included, but I understand your reasoning why. I like this record more than I do the Hunter, but nowhere near as much as you guys have seen in the review, Crack the Sky or even Blood Mountain. So you feel like this fits probably at the top of their discography from what you've heard so far?
Maybe not objectively, like again, Crack the Sky, I definitely see why a lot of people think it's their magnum opus. I might have to give it another listen sometime, just because, I don't know, I haven't heard it in full in a couple years. But, yeah, this is probably my favorite Mastodon album out of the ones I've heard so far.
Okay.
Which is kind of refreshing, because there weren't any metal albums I, like, really loved last year. So this is definitely refreshing for me.
So this is one that you would say that you actually, like, wholeheartedly love?
I don't know if it'll end up in my top 10 at the end of the year, since I do listen to a lot of albums. I know a lot more than you. But yeah, I definitely could see it being in, like, some kind of top list at the end of the year.
Before I kind of get into where things kind of morph within the discography in this record, what do you think what do you like about this album a lot? Like, what holds it to such a high caliber to you?
honestly, like I said, it kind of just combines a lot of what I liked about their previous albums, like the catchiness and like more song-based kind of writing of the Hunter, the more like atmospheric and like sort of progressive elements of Crack the Sky, the more like heaviness of Blood Mountain. It's just all there for me.
Okay. I could definitely agree with that opinion in terms of how it fits in their discography because, like he said, a lot of the riffage on this thing is a lot grittier. I feel like this is a good second step for people who got into Mastodon through the Hunter or viewed the Hunter on a high caliber because while I think that Leviathan is their best work and I feel like everyone should listen to that album if you like Mastodon and if you want to get into them as a metal fan, you should start there. This seeps you more into their kind of world sonically, stylistically. It's a lot grittier in terms of some of the guitar tones and stuff, and everything kind of feels more seeped in sludginess, and I like it a lot. I really dig this thing quite a bit, honestly, as well.
Yeah, exactly. I actually wouldn't have. I'll put it like this: I would make the Hunter an introduction for someone that just wants to listen to a Mastodon album, but I give them this album if they want like a bit of everything of what they're about.
I could agree with that. I guess yeah, this would be a good starter pack, coinciding with the Hunter or replacing the Hunter. I feel like as a whole, it has a lot of elements going for it that are good, but there are some songs in the mix that I don't like. And most of it's on the tail end because I feel like, huh?
I mean, because I haven't really, because out of the reviews I've seen, there aren't really any songs that like actively stick out as like a lot of people disliking it, with the exception of like Neodrop not liking the Motherload, but that's the second song. And although the exception may be being like the outro of Aunt Lisa, which is kind of cringeworthy, I have to admit. Like,
Yeah,
why is that? I have no idea why that's there.
I don't either. I think that Aunt Lisa is one of those songs that does have that kind of weird thing at the end, but the whole song as a whole feel like doesn't flow that well. Aunt Lisa.
I mean, I do kind of like the sort of off-kilter groove it has through a lot of it. I do think that kind of helps it stand out.
But it doesn't flow with the rest of the record. And like after Asleep in the Deep, which is a good song, Feast Your Eyes kind of has a weird break in the flow to me, and then it kind of continues with Aunt Lisa. Ember City kind of picks it up, but it kind of after Asleep in the Deep, things kind of get a little broken up, and it kind of breaks the great flow that this record had for it. Because, I mean, when I first listened to this record, I just fell in love with how everything flowed, because it kind of felt like a catchier Leviathan. A lot of the guitar tones are kind of reminiscent of stuff on there. And a lot of the grooves that they kind of throw together flow like they do in Leviathan. So I was like, yes! This is what I want from Mastodon! More of this, please! But then as the tail end of the record started to seep in, I was like, okay, this is not bad, but it kind of breaks flow in a weird way. Aunt Lisa, again, like a lot of people have stated, does kind of feel disjointed by the end of it. But, I don't know, I feel like it brings itself back, but it does kind of falter in the tail end of it.
Yeah, I guess I get that, but actually I do have my own little complaint about, I guess, the albumization, but it's not all that similar to yours. I think that basically I feel like something that's in this that's something that was in the Hunter that's kind of missing from this is that there's not really like a come down track. Like on that one you had like The Creature Lives or The Sparrow or maybe the title track to an extent. But here I feel like it's just kind of the same, like it's sort of like a really consistent thing all the way through to me.
Yeah, and that's kind of like
that same sort of tempo and like just overall feel. Maybe not tempo, tempo technically, but I don't know. There is just like a similar feel throughout all the songs here, and even though I do like them all, I think it would have been nice if there was a little break at some point, just to sort of, because it's one of those where like I find myself liking a lot of the front end of it, but if the order was switched around, then I might like the songs that are now on the back end of it in that same way, you know?
Okay. I feel like there is a bit of a break in a sense. Like I feel like once more Round the Sun hits after High Road, you do kind of get this kind of different groove to kind of slightly change things. Like it kind of webs around a bit more. That's what I like about something like, again, like Leviathan. Sorry, there's a bug in my face. But I feel like, especially around Ember City and Halloween especially, that's when it really starts to pick up for me again, because they found a pocket again. I feel like Aunt Lisa and Feast Your Eyes, especially Aunt Lisa with this kind of disjointed groove, kind of is a break in a sense. You wouldn't agree with that?
Oh, well, by that I didn't mean so much like, I don't know, what I meant by that was more like a softer moment, or like something a little more atmospheric, or like just like something to kind of break up the monotony is the wrong word because it's not monotonous at all, but like just something to like a slightly different sort of change in pace, I guess. I mean, you could say Aunt Lisa is that, but like I don't know.
Different spice in the Mastodon is what you're saying. A little more different spice.
But like I said, I mean, like a song like "Say the Creature Lives," or like in "Crack the Sky," how like all the songs went through, especially like the 10+ minute ones, went through all these different movements and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of would have liked to see a little bit more of that, but that's definitely a nitpick. That
so
whole thing.
You would have liked something like Diamond in the Witch House to kind of come beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of get the idea of like having the big like 7-8 minute epic closing it. I don't really have a problem with that.
Okay.
But I actually think that song maybe could use a little more variation. I don't know.
Okay. I can kind of see that, I guess. It doesn't bother me, because I don't know. I really like the flow of this thing. I feel like, especially with the first 4 tracks, or even Chimes of Midnight, especially, is where it kind of
definitely. Chimes of Midnight might be my favorite song on this.
It's definitely my favorite song on this. Like, listening to it still just
that eerie intro, and you know what? We haven't done enough raving about this album yet because we've spent like a good couple minutes on nitpicks. My only nitpicks.
Oh, dude, the freaking grooves and the solos. What I like about this record is they do their solos in this it's like acid tinged in a way, and it's so good. It's so freaking great. Like
what I love is what I love is just go ahead. Because
go.
You were in the middle of fanboying. Go ahead.
It's cool. I can break my fanboying. I'm good. I can.
Okay. Well. See, what I really like about their sort of change into this direction is that they could have very easily just like simplified the playing in the process of having this more accessible, melodic, straightforward sound. But they're still like all over the place instrumentally if you really pay attention.
Yeah,
and like sort of similar thing is like sort of like what, say, Rush on Moving Pictures, it kind of, or like a Quake in Cambria or something like that. Like I get a sort of similar kind of vibe, except in more of a metal sense. That makes sense.
It's definitely a bit more. There's a more artistry to this, in terms of instrumentation, and it still sounds so cohesive, like amongst all of its kind of. It's flashy, but still really true to form for them.
Exactly, because so many metal bands, they just have this thing where they put being flashy and just like, oh, look how fast I can tap and shred, man, over actually writing good songs.
Yeah, and Mastodon,
they don't do that.
No, and they kind of show more of their character on this record because, I mean, some of the not necessarily the growls, but some of the really good shouty moments on this record vocally just invoked that same feeling I got whenever I first listened to like Blood Mountain. Like it kind of got my blood curdling, and everything was nice inside of me. It was a good time. This album invoked a lot of things I loved about Mastodon again. It was good.
Yeah, it's heavy. You kind of put it better than I ever could.
But I mean, at least so you would say that this record get you more into exploring Mastodon's heavier sound, because there is a lot of it on here.
Oh, definitely. I'm actually re-listening to Bloodbound because as of now, like only a few songs. I remember only a few songs really standing out, but I listened to it like 3 years ago, so I'm probably gonna listen to it again at some point, just kind of see like if because I'm starting to get a little more tolerant of like the rougher, like the more unclean kind of vocal styles. Like I haven't really gotten into death metal or anything like that yet. So
You're
so
becoming
but,
one of us, laddie.
yes, yes. But let's hear it. With the freaking accent and everything. But yeah.
Okay.
I do plan on listening to the rest of their discography at some point. My musical plate is always full, but I can slide some stuff off.
That's a good. That's a good. Because in the review I've stated it. Three of their albums are in my top 100. I really love Mastodon, so I really wanted to like this record, and I do. I do feel like it has elements that have their great stuff in it. I still feel like it's a lesser version, but not in as bad of a way as maybe The Hunter. Bad in quotes. It's still accessible, but it still has a lot of their character, which I think is good.
Exactly. Like I feel like, in a way, like discography wise, I feel like maybe this one, it sort of sound if you gave me basically okay if you took all their albums and then gave them to someone who had never heard of them and then asked them to sort of order it like from where you think they got like from like their more rough beginnings to their more accessible like straightforward later period, I feel like they would put it all in the right order, except that this would go between Crack the Sky and The Hunter.
Definitely. I would agree with that.
Like I feel like this is sort of when they said they were going in a more accessible direction, I feel like this is the kind of album that that the fans would have reacted better to, because I know the fan reaction has been like unanimously positive for this, with the exception of people who just like want Leviathan 2.
Yeah. Because I know people who haven't given this album high praise, and I see why they don't, but I do like this record a lot. As a Mastodon fan, I love this goddamn record a lot.
So like, how would you rank like this among
this in their discography? I'd put it alongside Remission and above The Hunter, but below Blood Mountain. So it's not necessarily on the bottom because I still rank it highly, but in terms of the discography, because as an album I'd rank it highly, but in terms of the discography, it sits a little on the lower side, but that's just because, again, three of their albums are in my top 100 of all time.
Right,
so
right.
It's hard to get to that point.
Right, but yeah, I know that you don't really give scores out, but personally, I do it out of 100, but I'll just kind of simplify it and say that out of 10, I'd give it like in Fantano terms, a decent to strong 8.
I think it's a good rating to give it. I'd give it about that. If I were to rate things,
Although there's this one nitpick that I kind of forgot to point out. I do kind of wish the production I feel like one major plus on The Hunter production-wise was that the production really complemented those catchier moments, and I'm not sure if that happens on every song here.
I don't think it does, but I don't feel like it detracts from it in a negative sense. Like on the Motherlode especially, like the Motherlode, not the Motherlode, one of the songs in the front half has a nice catchy chorus, but it's muddled underneath all the roughness.
High Road?
No, not High Road. High Road's chorus is very defined. Like,
yeah, I was about to say, like, Tread Lightly?
No, it wasn't Tread Lightly. I think it was the Motherlode. The Motherlode has a hook, but it's barely...
This time, you know that one?
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite song? As you said, Chimes of Midnight would be your favorite song.
I said Chimes of Midnight, but, I do like to sort of give out, like, a top 5 tracks thing, so just kind of single out a few others. High Road, for sure.
Yes.
Ember City, that's, like, one of the... As a lot of people said, that's one of the better, like, poppier songs on there.
Yeah.
Probably Halloween. That one... Okay, so it'd probably be High Road, Chimes at Midnight, Once More on the Sun, Ember City, and Halloween.
My favorite song was Chimes at Midnight, with some highlights being I really like Diamond in the Witch House. Tread Lightly was a really great opener. I I feel like Once More Around the Sun had a really nice rumble to it that really connected with me.
I love like how the vocals kind of just like go at this speeding kind of, not speeding, but like at this very swift kind of like fun pace. Like I feel like this is like the most fun song on the album.
Yes, definitely. But
maybe the most like fun song they've done.
This what?
I don't know. Maybe just like maybe Mastodon's like most fun song that I've heard. Unless there's like something from the Hunter, but
Maybe
Curl the Burl? I don't know.
I'd say Curl the Burl more, or even not necessarily fun, but the most like
comparatively, just like the most rousing. I think that might be it.
Oh, rousing! That's definitely got to be Blood and Thunder, dude. Off of, I mean, I know you haven't heard Leviathan, but oh, dude, that's like a sort of song for me. Maybe that's just me, but
okay, I don't know. Just like that point, I don't know where I was going. Okay, so what are like our highlights for you?
Well, those are pretty much. I mean, my favorite song, Chimes at Midnight. I've been adding other highlights and not so highlights, and like other highlights for me would be like Tread Lightly and High Road, and Once More Around the Sun, and Halloween and Diamonds. A lot of songs, really. The lowest point for me is probably Aunt Lisa, that, and maybe Feast Your Eyes. Feast Your Eyes is okay. It's just one of those songs that sits between a few things that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's like not necessarily filler. That's the wrong word, but like it doesn't offer much that like other songs don't.
Yeah. Precisely. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me on the channel, Mr. Bearman, and thank you for staying subscribed for so long.
No problem, Mr. Goens.
But we're gonna go. I might have an outro point to this, but if I don't, go check out his channel. We did a review. We're doing another one together. We did Weird Al. We're gonna do another one. I don't want to spoil it. It's gonna be a surprise. It's gonna be updates with.
So you don't want me to show you that certain release I got for it? You know.
Not yet. No, not.
Okay, just the hint. It has a very special release in a format.
Think blue. Think blue.
No, it's not the new. It's not the.
Think blue. Think blue.
Think blue. And another color.
And black. Blue.
and another color. Referring to something else.
Red? I don't know anymore. We're gonna.
You know, I'm gonna tell you this after we're done recording, and you'll feel so stupid.
Probably. But
okay. So we're good.
Yep. I probably gonna do an outro part video. So I'm gonna cut to that now. Bye.